需要有爱心的人去帮助他们，特别我们
弱势群体更容易受到关注和关爱的一群人。
I think it's a very good thing just for couples.
Adoption court is the happiest court in this whole court.
这些父母跟对待亲生的没分别的啊，好像我自己一样。
China is an agricultural society, with a large percentage of the population living in rural areas. Because of the abundance of hard labor required to work the fields, the idea that men are more valuable than women has become ingrained in the minds of many villagers. Historically, the birth of a son to a family living in the countryside has meant a means to earn income and hope for a good life in the future, directly leading to the vastly disproportionate number of girls in China's orphanages. Jerry and Claire Pendleton's 3 daughters were born in China. In total, the adoption for Catherine, Hannah, and Erica took nearly 4 years to complete. For this ordinary American family, adoption from China has posed many challenges, not only in increased family expenditure, but also in areas of identity which directly affect their daughters' mental growth. Since 2 of their daughters were already over 11 years old when they first came to the United States, they have needed to help their daughters find their identity, to their new home, to their parents, and to the rest of American society. Jerry and Claire have invested much painstaking care into their children and have gotten much happiness and love in return.
It's a feast. They were in these beautiful valleys. First, we flew into Beijing. Who can find Beijing on this map of China for me?
Bingo.
Bingo, you found it. Good job.
I don't see it.
There it is, right there.
I don't see
Beijing.
It. The capital of China.
Yeah. Say it for me, please.
Beijing.
Beijing. Okay.
I don't see Chinese lesson.
I think I remember.
We want to go to a garage sale.
19-year-old Catherine, called Mei Wu in Chinese, is a college freshman. When she was 11 years old, her parents traveled to the city of Kunming, capital of China's Yunnan province, to bring her home. When asked about her childhood, Catherine does not shy away from the reality of her situation. As she explains, her entire destiny was changed because of her parents' love. Adopted as an older child, suddenly Catherine was faced with new parents, a new country, and a new culture, without the comfort of her family, friends, and classmates. Catherine says that the transformation into her new life was successful because her parents gave her their all, giving her a new life.
I was very nervous when I first came here because one thing that makes me kind of don't be too nervous because I have a little sister Erica, so have her wear the same kind of hair, same kind of color skin. I just okay, she's fine. I'm gonna be fine too.
Overcoming the language barrier was Catherine's greatest challenge in her new family. Because she did not understand the language, Catherine did not like to talk, which made it difficult to build a relationship with her parents. To help the situation and to help Catherine improve her English, her parents found a bilingual classmate who would visit their home every day to help Catherine with her English language development and to serve as a translator between her parents and herself.
With Catherine, that was probably most especially challenging because she came to us not knowing any English at all. And so we found a girl named Pearl Yi. And Pearl came to our house 4 to 5 times a week and just spent an hour or 2 hours with us with us at a time translating.
Prior to adopting Catherine, Jerry and Claire did not worry about her physical health because they had access to her medical report. However, they were prepared that Catherine might have emotional and psychological challenges attaching to her new family, since she had grown up in an orphanage. Prior to being adopted, Catherine's life experiences were limited to what happened in the orphanage environment. Suddenly, she was in a new country where everything was completely different, and she was fearful and at a loss for understanding what was going on. Everything was new, and she had no means by which to process the massive amounts of incoming information. To help her adjust, the Pendletons consciously nurtured her interest and knowledge of American culture, and they brought her to events organized by other families with children from China. They tried their best to help her build up her trust and confidence in her parents. Through the support and love, Catherine gradually became more self-confident and secure in her new family.
Catherine probably, right? Because they already interviewed me for a lot of hours. Okay. Catherine came to us maybe because she had been in the orphanage so long, she didn't have an understanding of personal ownership of property. For example, when she opened our car door, she banged it into the door. She might bang it into the car next to us, denting that car, and she didn't know that was okay. And it would have been very difficult to explain that to her without the translator, without the high school student who helped us. My husband, and when he is away, he sends emails to them and he calls us regularly. He helps them with whatever they need help with. I think both my husband and I feel that if there's anything we can do for the well-being or happiness of the children, we want to do it. So we give them, he works so that we can pay for their lessons and classes and all the opportunities that they have, so Catherine can go away to college. And, so we basically just try to provide the things that they need in whatever way that we can.
In order to build a closer relationship with Catherine, Claire also diligently studied Mandarin. She felt that if she could use Mandarin to communicate with Catherine, it would not only strengthen the parent-child relationship, but also help Catherine feel more comfortable in her new family. Although Catherine was now on the other side of the world, she would not feel cut off from her mother tongue. Slowly, Catherine's anxiety and fear decreased, and she smiled more and more as each day passed. She became more successful at school and gradually formed a new circle of friends. Now, as a university student, Catherine is an outstanding American citizen.
High school was really hard for me. I wasn't sure I'm gonna go to four-year college. I'm really struggling in high school before, and my parents, every day they tell me, you need to go to college. College is really important. That's what your future is like, and your future is behind there. If you don't go to college, get a degree, you won't be able to get a job, good job in the future to support yourself. Hopefully, I can finish off my college career there and get a degree, become a social worker. Right now, my goal is to become a social worker, or maybe as my time goes by in college, I can find something else interesting in myself. But right now, I really want to become a social worker. Hopefully, I can get an internship for FCC if they can help me out.
Although both parents were earning income, due to their growing family, the Pendletons had an increase in their financial expenses. Despite this difficulty, Jerry and Claire decided to renovate their house when Catherine was 14 years old, so that both she and her two younger sisters could each have their own room to grow.
$1 contract. I collect $2 million.
Yes! $60 please.
The Chinese proverb, 血浓于水, is similar to the English expression, blood is thicker than water. Both languages show the strong ties between family members. Every week, Catherine will make a telephone call home, telling her parents and two younger sisters about what is happening at school and what she is learning. In order to help decrease the financial burden on her parents, Catherine works part-time at a restaurant.
I'm a very lucky person. I thank my parents to adopt me. If they have not adopted me, I'm not sure what I'm be doing in China. I probably walk on the street, bake, you know, because I don't know, like many of my friends in China, they're age right now for me, and they're not doing well, so I feel like really sad for them.
For the Pendletons, the path to adoption of their second eldest daughter, Hannah, was more complex. Originally from the city of Shiyan in the Hubei province, Hannah was first adopted by another family in the United States. However, to survive in her orphanage, she had to advocate for herself and had developed a very strong personality. Both Hannah and her first adoptive family were not adequately prepared to face the challenges and were unable to reconcile the differences. In order for Hannah to have the opportunity to grow up in a healthy environment, the original adoptive parents reluctantly gave up custody. Hannah was once again faced with an enormous blow. Would she be able to once again adapt to a new family, new parents, and new sisters?
I think it was because I wasn't the right child. They couldn't handle me. It was a little hard, I guess. And also I thought because I did something wrong, they knew. So I thought pretty much it was my fault that I transferred.
Hannah's fear and rebellion were difficult for Jerry and Claire to work through. But with each new difficulty, they were motivated to show their love and tolerance even more. Helping Hannah through the grieving process and fostering a healthy emotional mindset was of great priority for them. Therefore, Claire decided to resign from her well-paying job and instead became a volunteer middle school teacher, which gave her greater flexibility in her schedule. This way, she could spend more time with her children. She felt that her daughters were missing the atmosphere of a normal family life, which is very important for their emotional growth. Gradually, the loving sense of a family, mother-daughter connection, and emotional attachment helped Hannah experience for the first time the warmth of a loving home.
It's hard to believe when you have kids who are genetically programmed to play this game. Oh good, I get an extra turn. I think I'm gonna win after all. Wow, who won out? Good job, Anna. Congratulations, you won. That I think she wouldn't normally do because, well, she had lost her previous American family, that she had pushed them away. And I think she needed to know that she couldn't do that with us. And so she tried really hard to know that we were really going to stick with her by trying really hard to push us away, and then she found out she couldn't.
Hannah says that when she first came to her family, she, like Catherine, alienated herself. She would often lose her temper with her parents or become depressed. Because of the trauma and scarring from her first adoption experience, she felt there was not too much hope for her situation. Despite her behavior, her parents patiently cared for her and did not ever talk about sending her away. She was touched and shocked by this love that she had never experienced before.
I think the best thing a parent can give to a child is being the parent and a family. And also, the best thing what they did was, best thing about adopting is you save one child's life by giving them a family, and I think that's really important. And that's how, when I get older, when I grow up, I want to adopt kids from China also.
The loving sense of a family, which she had never experienced before, continually surrounded her as she grew older. Slowly, she learned to become part of her family, treasured her new home, and desired for her parents to be proud of her.
This is, I did Taekwondo for about 2 or 3 years, and this is the recent belt I got. Well, actually I have a recent one, but I don't have it up here. There's a recent one that's not up here, which is purple. These are the words for the belt. This one is a reward from school for sports. This is lifeguard certificate. I got a lifeguard trainee, so I completed the course and I got this.
And I still use it. I use it to sew.
Jerry Pendleton says that since he was a small child, he has always been interested in China. He used chopsticks to eat Chinese food. His family would always go to a Chinese restaurant to celebrate special events like birthdays and graduations, and he likes listening to Chinese music. When Jerry and Claire were deciding which country to adopt from, China was the logical choice. She says it is obvious that the initial decision was correct.
The way that I found out that there were children in China that were available for adoption was I watched a news documentary. I can't remember if it was 60 Minutes or 2020. And they talked about the orphanages in China, and they had video clips of the children. And they were so beautiful, and I really wanted a child. And I felt that one of those children might be mine. And so that's how we started pursuing China as a place we wanted to adopt from in the very beginning.
Erica is 11 years old this year and was the first daughter that the Pendletons adopted. She was brought home from Chengdu, capital of the Sichuan province, when she was still a baby. In addition to reading books on raising children to prepare for their daughter's arrival, Jerry and Claire, like other adoptive parents, learned as much about China as they could in a short amount of time. They not only read books on raising children, but also prepared everything possibly useful in welcoming their baby.
I think the biggest surprise for me was when I brought Erica home, was I had the most beautiful little girl that ever existed in the whole world. For me, everything was different because my whole life now centered around my child.
The Pendletons invested a lot of energy in Erica. After all, she is their first daughter. This is a successful adoption story. 11-year-old Erica is not like her peers with similar backgrounds. She is precocious, sensitive, quiet, healthy, and self-confident, seemingly inherited from her adoptive mother.
My family's very fun, and I like it because there's never a boring moment in my life, so it's very, really wild and stuff.
I think that the things that I do that are especially helpful is I volunteer a lot in their classrooms. I coach Erica's softball team and her Odyssey of the Mind team. I attend a lot of their different events, their theater events, and help with their homework.
The Pendletons do not avoid the topic of their daughter's past and very much respect the girls' ideas. Racial differences cannot be changed, but by understanding their root, they are more equipped to face problems in the future.
One guy named Skittle Man. Little heads, and S for Skittle. He had a really fat butt.
Story.
I used to Willy Wonka story.
Willy Wonka.
My children have always known that they were adopted. With Erica, from the day we adopted her, we started reading her adoption stories and telling her the story of her adoption, even when she couldn't understand it, so that she would grow up knowing it. We've tried to talk about that in China she has birth parents, a birth mother and a birth father, and we don't know who they are, but that we honor them for having brought her into the world. Hannah and Catherine were both much older when they joined us, so they always, they knew that they were obviously not birth children, that they were adopted children. And I think together we've tried to understand about China and about the culture, about what reasons a child might be in need of parents.
Besides talking with their children about their past, the Pendletons look for opportunities to bring their children back to China and to visit their birthplace. They feel this is very important for their children because it would allow them to have continuity in their memories and provide a psychological foundation for solid, healthy growth. In the summer of 2006, Claire traveled with her 3 daughters and over 30 other adoptive families from the U.S. back to China to participate in a root-seeking journey.
I think the most touching moment I experienced with Erica was last summer when we left China. She cried on the airplane for 3 hours. Wow. And I comforted her for that time, and I think it was really hard for her to leave her country of birth. And I don't know how much she knew what she was crying about, but I think she was crying because we had gone again to China and she still hadn't met her birth family.
All adoptive parents are faced with the challenge of telling their children the truth about their background without causing psychological damage. Love without understanding is not enough. Neither can the focus be on facts alone. The children need time to accept the reality of their adoption and time to understand that sometimes their birth parents do not have a choice. Although the birth parents cannot raise their children, they still love their children. These serious topics on life, families, and society are difficult concepts for children to understand if not approached with a loving attitude. The Pendleton family story is clearly a success. The 3 princesses have become white swans. Although the ugly duckling of their past is tragic, they are not bound by their history. Erica, Hannah, and Catherine have become beautiful young ladies, and after they are grown, can think back to their earlier life as a trial and blessing in disguise. They will be forever grateful, because during the coldest time in their lives, they received the most precious gift of all, a warm and loving home.